The best of Money Matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm Hongbin Jeong. Breastfeeding has always been described as one of the most natural things in the world, but for many mothers, it can also be one of the hardest. From supply struggles and sleepless nights to the heartbreak of seeing precious milk go to waste, the journey can be overwhelming and emotional. Yet, in the midst of those challenges, innovative solutions are emerging to help mothers preserve the fruits of their effort and love. One of those solutions comes from Wonderbewbz, a company that transforms breast milk into powder through freeze drying, giving it a longer shelf life and offering moms peace of mind. And to share more about how her personal journey turned into a business helping mothers across Singapore, joining us today is Jolene Ruth Tan, who's the founder of Wonderbewbz. Hi, Jolene. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Hongbin. It's a pleasure for me to be here.
Well, Jolene, you launched this business after experiencing your own challenges with breastfeeding. What was happening in your life at the time that inspired you to start Wonderbewbz?
So actually, it was my husband who first came across the idea.
Okay.
Yeah, he saw it overseas, and I was then in my third trimester of my pregnancy. Yeah, so I've already been doing tons of research on breastfeeding, right? I wasn't breastfed growing up, so I always had very weak immunity, as you can tell. I'm having a little bit of sore throat right now. Yeah, so I was really determined to give my son the best foundation that I could. But life doesn't always follow research, right? You know, what we read and what happens in real life is very different.
Right.
So my breastfeeding journey turned out to be really tough. Yeah, I couldn't produce enough in the early days. And actually, on day 4 after we brought him home, he latched fine. So I thought, hey, that's great, because I always heard of latching issues for breastfeeding mothers. So we continued that, and on day 4, after we went home, he started having red dots in his pee. So there was blood. So he was mildly dehydrated.
Oh no.
So my confinement nanny then was saying, oh, I think you better supplement with formula. He's not getting enough. That's why, there's blood. And I was distraught. I thought I was doing okay.
Yeah.
And to see that, it was I felt so much guilt. So that sent me into a really dark place. So I cried so much. Yeah, I really thought he was drinking fine, so it really crushed me. But then I tried to pick myself back up. I tried to do whatever I could to increase my supply, eat lactation cookies, drink red date tea every day. But I guess stress is one big factor that controls your supply as well. So eventually, I only made just enough for him. We supplemented with one formula feed at night. So I came from the spectrum of knowing how hard and precious each drop of breast milk is. Right. And I was really determined to preserve them as long as I could, as much as I could.
Right.
Yeah, so that really spurred on the growth of Wonderbewbz.
Yeah, I mean, these are some issues that not a lot of people understand or know about motherhood, right? Was it scary to turn something so personal into something public and commercial? And how did you overcome that fear?
It's definitely scary. Yeah. It's not easy. There were a lot of moments of doubt. It felt like I was turning my own wounds into a business in that sense. Yeah. But it's also why I actually care about doing it right. Because I know how it feels to work so hard for that few precious mLs or liters and to cry over spilled milk, literally. So my son is the first customer of Wonderbewbz. Yeah, I did countless of trials, over 1.5 years of research and trials to eventually using my breast milk and then feeding that to my son. So this entire process was crafted by me, and if I wouldn't accept anything less than the highest standard for my own son, I know other moms wouldn't either. So this is the core of what we do here. Every step is designed with care because I've been on that side.
Right.
I get how it feels.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're not alone in this journey as well. And you're probably helping a lot of mothers who face the same issues out there. But I just want to know, I mean, you were constantly thinking of ways to preserve every single drop, right? But what made you focus on freeze drying the breast milk? I mean, it's quite a unique idea and not something most moms would immediately think of. So So what made you see this as a solution worth pursuing?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, my husband saw this technology overseas. So they were already using it on breast milk. So it started off in Canada and US. But freeze drying is something that is not new.
Yeah.
It's actually in pharmaceuticals for a long time. Even in food, you have freeze-dried fruit, snacks, yogurt melts. Even there's freeze-dried durians now. So it's just that this technology wasn't adopted for breast milk yet because there wasn't a suitable equipment that could do that. So breast milk is very personal, right? And it's not like largely manufactured. So it's not like apples where if you finish it or like you don't have, you can take some more. It's from different sources and every mom makes their own unique breast milk. So with freeze drying, it's a gold standard of preservation. Yeah, so if we can use this to help moms turn their fruits of labor, their hard work and effort into something that's shelf stable for 3 years compared to what would be in a normal freezer, which would last like probably 6 to 12 months, then that gives moms a lot of freedom, convenience to do what they want to do with their breast milk.
Okay. So after coming up with this idea, you and your husband started researching freeze drying and eventually built Wonderbewbz. What did your research tell you about the gap in this area then?
I think many mothers were already facing the issue of, like, for example, oversuppliers. They are facing the issue of not being able to use their stash before it expires. So then a lot of it either goes down the drain or it becomes milk bath. That's a very common thing that you'll hear, mothers say, I just make milk bath for my kids. Yeah, so I think the gap is that mothers want to preserve their milk, but there's no viable solution out there that gives them the chance to do so. Yeah, so it was a very clear gap to me. It's not just logistically or like physically, but it's also emotionally. When our milk holds so much meaning, there's just no solutions out there that respected that or like could protect that or honor that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you approach learning about the process? Especially, you weren't familiar with this in the first place, right? What was some of the biggest challenges you faced in developing your product?
I really had to learn everything from scratch. Yeah, so I had no science background. I was just a passionate mother wanting to help other moms preserve their breast milk. I just became very, very curious, and I'm quite a persistent person. So once I see that, hey, I think this is going to work, that's why I went into like 1.5 years of research, trials, just to do this. I really spent so many hours, testing different settings, talking to suppliers, figuring how we could do this, adapt this for breast milk, which is very delicate and complex. So we work with labs, we ran our own trials, we do like testings and everything. It's all based on, the whole system is based on one question. Would I feel safe feeding this to my son?
Right.
Yeah. And if I would feel safe feeding this to my son, then that's the standard that we're going to put out. Yeah. So that's how I always have this one question at the back of my head. It's why we always improving on our systems, developing new ways to see how we can tighten it.
And it's about trust as well, right?
It is, yeah, because it's something so precious to mothers, right? Like, they need to know that their milk is in good hands. Yeah.
And mothers are always going to be protective of their children.
Yes.
They need to know that good things are going into the system of their children.
Exactly.
So I want to know, share more about what Wonderbewbz does today and how does your service, actually work, especially for someone who's never heard of breast milk freeze drying before.
So we're like a service provider. So once a mother places an order with us, we take it from start to finish. We will take their frozen breast milk, we go to their house to pick it up and bring it back to our facility. We do all of our checks to ensure that, there's no leaks, there's no signs of it being tempered or thawed, anything that would be unsafe for consumption. And then we freeze dry into powder using our freeze dryers. It does all the magic. Everything is done in an ISO 6 certified clean room. So I made a lot of efforts to ensure that the facility that we are holding this and processing this is like really of the tip-top standard. And then after that, we seal it into individual sachets like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So in this form, because freeze drying removes all of the moisture in the breast milk, so what is left is really a nutrient-dense, rich powder.
Okay.
And we pack it individually into sachets like that.
Okay.
So one pack is for one feed, and we can customize it for mothers based on their baby's feeding requirement.
Okay, so then for you to use it for your child, do you put it in hot water?
Yeah, so you use warm water to reconstitute it. It's pretty much like using formula, but this is your own breast milk powder. Yeah.
Okay, so you actually send your own breast milk to your service?
I tried. Yeah, I mean, I did all of the operations in the because so I started as a solo founder, solo ops. I was like a one-woman show, everything in the first 1.5 years of our business. Yeah, so it's my own. I trialed it with different parts. I took like expired milk from my friends to do all the R&D, and then when I was confident enough, I tested it on my own breast milk. So my son actually didn't take the taught milk. So there's this thing called lipase in breast milk that can change the taste and smell of like frozen breast milk. So my son doesn't take the taught version. So once it's frozen and it's taught, he refuses it. And you know, I mentioned earlier, my supply was so precious and then I had to throw that away. I was like, no way. Yeah, so I turned it into powder and he took it. Like he took it really well. This is mine, by the way.
Okay.
It's my very last packet. I don't dare to use it. Yeah, you know, there really is an emotional attachment to breast milk for some reason. I think a lot of mothers can relate to that. Yeah, so that's how we do it.
Well, we read that breast milk can only last around 6 months in a regular freezer, but freeze drying extends that significantly. So how do you ensure, you know, hygiene, safety, and quality at Wonderbewbz?
Yeah, so safety is always our North Star. Like I mentioned, if I wouldn't want to feed this to my son, I wouldn't want it for anybody else. So we work in the clean room. As I mentioned earlier, we follow strict hygiene protocols. All of our protocols are actually tested. Yeah. So we are also voluntarily aligning with HACCP HACCP standards. So it's a international food safety standards. Yeah, it's something that's not required from us, but we chose to do it anyway because that's how you know, I really see this as we have to be safe. If I don't want to give this to my son, I'm not going to do this for anybody else. Yeah.
Right.
So we track dryness of the powder. So there are multiple steps that we take to ensure the quality. We check dryness with a thermal imager. Yeah, we also measure the water activity. So water activity is where like free water molecules are still present. So the food safety standard is a 0.6. Anything below 0.6 is safe, but we really push it all the way to below 0.2. So every product that comes out of our clean room, the water activity level is below 0.2. Yeah. So like I said, we always do it like we're making it for our own baby, and that's the truth. Yeah.
I mean, from the initial, you know, idea and brainstorming and researching, I'm sure it took a long time. So how did you feel when you first actually launched Wonderbewbz?
A mixture of excitement and
fear.
Fear. Yeah, because I think that it's a great idea. I mean, that's my own perspective, right? But I think it was also interesting to find out and see what other moms think about this, whether this is something they think that is a very practical solution. And I'm glad that most of them say like, why did you not exist earlier? Yeah, this is what I hear from a lot of our clients.
Is there a particular story that you heard from one of your moms that have used Wonderbewbz, some of the feedback, any stories that you'd like to share?
We have so many because I personally contact each of our clients. So I know a lot of their stories. This is great for moms who are relocating and they don't want to lug off their frozen milk on a flight.
Okay.
Airlines have restrictions and it's liquid as well.
Right.
So, and it's frozen. And if you go on a really long flight, it might thaw along the way.
Definitely.
So this has helped a lot of our moms who are relocating to other countries. We help them. But there is this one particular story that would stay with me, I think, forever. Yeah. So in our early days when we just started, we freeze-dried 9 to 10 liters for this particular mother. And she was sharing with me her story. She was saying that she had to stop breastfeeding because she's going to undergo chemotherapy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so when she shared that and she was like, I am so glad I found you and I'm so glad you brought this technology here when I need it the most. Yeah, so that's like, it reaffirms why I wanted to do this, because if I felt that my breast milk is so precious, other moms would have, feel the same way.
You're tearing up. I'm tearing up. I'm sure our listeners are tearing up as well. I mean, it is not just, you're not doing this as a business for profit. You're actually doing this to help so many mothers out there, whether it is just for a flight that they need to take, or even for medical reasons, they can't physically breastfeed their children. I mean, it is such an inspiring story that you've shared. Looking ahead, before we let you go here, Jolene, and I cry even further, what's next for Wonderbewbz?
Right now, we're just focused on doing what we do and hopefully to raise awareness. Education is so important what we do because it's something brand new, right? We're creating a brand new category here. We've grown a lot since we started 2 years ago, but we're always staying close to our roots. High standards, honest service, and deep care for the mothers that we serve. Yeah, so we're quietly working on some things behind the scenes, which I can't share now, but I'll share more when the time is right. And yeah, like you mentioned, at the end of the day, I didn't build Wonderbewbz to just be a business. I really built it to be a space where motherhood is honored. So where be it your milk, your story, or your effort, like it all gets to matter.
Yeah. And the mothers are not alone, especially for new mothers when they do feel that their journey is alone. If they're unable to get their child latch onto them, I mean, it's not their fault.
Yeah. And they can drop me a DM. I'll gladly speak to them.
Right. So if any mothers are tuning in and they would love to check you out, where can they find you?
You can find us on Instagram. We're pretty active there. Our handle is Wonderbewbz. So Wonder and Boobs is spelled a little bit differently. Bewbz. So they can find us on Instagram.
Well, thank you so much, Jolene, for joining me today.
Thank you, Hongbin. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. That was Jolene Ruth Tan, who's the founder of Wonderbewbz. This has been The Right Business with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.